All right, here we go. Aquarius, this is your February 2026 reading. I didn't really get that much of a pre-read, but I did get this. I think Sagittarius, there's a difference between, I don't know why I just called you a Sagittarius, Aquarius. It's like there's an understanding that, like, when you're aiming for something, right? You have a desired outcome, but there's the people around you. Sometimes there's extenuating circumstances that you cannot control. Okay. As much as you want to help people who are experiencing homelessness, let's just pretend that you pull up to a stoplight, you see someone with a sign, then you look through your car, you rifle through everything you've got, okay, to try to find something that you could give to them to be helpful, right? I'm going to tell you Aquarians a story because there was a Sagittarius that graced our lives one time. And I'm saying Sagittarius because of the aim, okay? It was the way she was preying on us and our kindness that has stuck with me over the years. We helped a pregnant lady who was in distress. And she came to our house and laid on the couch and bossed my mom around the entire time. She was not a boss. She had chosen to live on the street because her family didn't approve of her pregnancy. So instead of getting into arguments and having people rail on her constantly, or whatever the case may be, she just decided it would be easier for her to be homeless. That's what I mean, Aquarius. There's something about needing to be really cognizant of that with your own family. And I know that sounds real jacked up, but I think that's the reason Sagittarius had slipped out of my mouth like that. Yeah, it's something about like the way family is creating with you. Understand that they may be trying to help, okay? But you can't help someone that doesn't want to help themselves, first and foremost. And that can be in so many different ways. You can try to tell someone all day. I noticed this pattern of behavior with you where this is a problem, right? This is a problem that's continuously coming up. If that person doesn't want to address it with you, there's nothing you can do about it. I was talking with my mom about this earlier. It's just like, literally, it doesn't mean you have to have a disagreement. It doesn't mean that you are not in the same family or that you're not creating similar things, but it does mean they're different. The intention from my mother's side when I was a little girl and we took that woman in was not to project into the future a reflection of what she thought I should be, which is just serving someone on a couch. You know what I mean? Like, that is like lazy behavior. And especially if it's like family doing it to you, it just sucks. So I think this is the Star is Born. This is the Star card. So your family, or you are family to the stars. And I think some part of creation is trying to tell you that something way better exists on a whole, as a whole family. Something way better exists if you're willing to put down the essence of servitude, which is not something that a lot of families try to ingrain into themselves. It's not very patriotic. But the essence of this white dwarf is what is being missed out on right now. You can't have that part of family plugged in to this whole unit if it's not going to have the same kind of creational direction. If we don't share a vision in what we're creating, then we can't really like co-create that well. There will be a lot of miscommunication intentionally in that case if we're not even trying to get on the same page. I can give you another example of my in a better light, in a much better light. Okay. When working on a project with somebody who's teaching you the steps of how to do things, it doesn't mean that you stop trying because they're teaching you. It means that you try to learn. Okay, that learning component can't happen without communication. We're already past that point in, human evolution. We use words. That's what we are dependent upon each other for, in order to have the same blueprint to make the same house, have the same pink print to make the same project. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't coordinate unless there's a plan to do so. And if the plan never existed, because as a whole, from a big picture perspective, I'm not talking about family in particular, it could be. But this could also just be the energy that I'm feeling, trying to reach out to you to say, you can have better. If you can have something that makes you happy, that you're satisfied with, if that's something that you want. If that's something that's okay with you to have, the universe is trying to give it to you without turbulence. It doesn't always have to be a fight. You don't have to help anybody on the street. Nobody's requiring us to endorse humanity, be serving towards humanity. That's simply the attitude that we've decided to take. And I don't know that we're that good at serving each other. Some of us are a little bit more invested than others. But that doesn't change this. The essence doesn't have a turbulence to it. This energy coming towards you does not have friction, just the gravity of the situation really does not have to be that serious. Here's the title. The title is right here. Aquarius, this is your reading. You're the first card out in this family. Maybe you're the father figure. Maybe you're the mother figure of a family. And this is the way that you're going to organize things, or this is what you're trying to do. That's that aim. Do you see that? It's somebody trying to aim at grabbing the title. And you kind of got to be careful letting strangers in your house, be safe. Times have changed. That's my point. Things don't always operate the way that we'd like for them to, or that we want them to, or that we intend on them operating. Let's do this from the opposite direction. Say you're on the street and you have $15, but what you really need is some food, and that $15 is like leftover on a food stamp card or something like that. Let's just phrase it that way for the sake of the story. When you see somebody, you can go get your money out of Snap, okay? So you could get cash, but it's after dark, or all the stores that you know of or in your walking vicinity are closed. What you might need is a restroom, or actually a little sack of groceries to get you through the evening. But if someone comes up and gives you money, even though you've got this $15 on the card, that's not really helpful for this evening unless you could like go pay to use the bathroom somewhere. You know what I mean? And in that case, it's kind of feels like what's a waste of money when you could just go to the bush. You know what I mean? It's the way that you get to define your own earth. You get to define this. You get to communicate as much or as little with the eye of this issue, as much or little as you want. But those two spheres, maybe two families are coming together, overlapping. The human family is maybe being introduced to a different family. I don't know. This is something like that, but it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be painful. What we project out doesn't have to be always like this bombardment of self, just like then you will face this and that. Yeah, we already do. The perception of all that is what needs to change. That's the eye of the issue right there. It's the title. Where did this all begin? What is the source code? What is the essence that we begin from? And why did it begin in such a turbulent way? How do we change that? I'm not really interested in repeating old loops. I'll just be the looper that's going to close the cycle. A star is born. There. Now we're all shallow together. It is not always about everything that you're looking at or what you see on the surface. You don't necessarily always know what someone else's essence is. It could be very turbulent, or in the case of this homeless lady that was sleeping on our couch for a night, no, she just chose all that for herself and then really wanted us to continue the service without questioning anything. And it wasn't just the service. It was, I mean, like the service to us was offering a place that's warm and safe for you to stay overnight. That was the service. You have to go pay a hotel, a motel, an Airbnb to do that. It isn't a free service. The plus one, plus two service that we were doing for her and her baby was serving her when she wanted water, when she wanted food, when she just wanted a napkin. She didn't want to stand out next to the red and green lights all night long. Maybe having to go to the bathroom. The bathroom was another service. A hot shower. People do a lot for a lot less. And the generosity of my family to have allowed her into our space and to be expected to just hand over the title to her. Like, whatever you need, princess. We just call her the Queen of Sheba. In that story in our family, when we tell it, we just call her the Queen of Sheba because she's just relentlessly bossy. Relentlessly bossy. I was relentless. My mom was busy that whole night. She was not happy by the time that our guests left, okay? She was done hosting. That's kind of the way, yeah, independence. It's understanding that you have independence from your family, not only in the way that you present, but also in the traits. Honestly, your nature can't be anything except for, the way that you were raised to be. It's the image that was reflected back to you when you're raised is usually the one that you're watching, that you look into as an adult, because that's your source. This is the blueprint for that. They go together. Like peanut butter jelly time. Okay, there's the back. Here's the whole. You do the math. That's kind of how this is coming through, is like someone needs to do their own independent math. If you've never seen the movie Flatland, it was really very helpful to me in conceptualizing what the heck happens between dimensional spaces. Maybe it's a children's movie. I don't care. I really like cartoons. Anyway, Aquarius, I'm going to switch decks really quickly and get you some mood to go with this. Just very, you are balanced. Whatever you're doing, you are like aligning these two things. But it's almost like having to remove the ring makers of Saturn before you can get to the next pit stop of a planet, right? You just need to self-care, continue doing what you're doing. Don't worry about other people. Rinse off the negative interactions that you have with people, places, and things, or the patterns that you see. Like every time I try to address this Queen of Sheba, I get completely reamed, like, oh. So yeah, no, it's this family, whatever, that's what I mean. This is the raw lemons. You see the raw lemons all over the place? This is like every planet is a different fruit, a different flavor, a different smell, a different weight. It's the same exact thing. It's a diversity of different seeds that are out there for you to pluck. Neptune probably sounds really good. Pluto might be really broke. And the asteroid belt is probably like a dating website that you'll want to get off of pretty soon, or it might become a very uncomfortably bumpy ride. It's like that. You can choose which way you want it to be. You could also choose the planet that matches you. You could just set fire to the rain and be like, I'll just make me some lemonade, right? It's all a choice. It's knowing that actually you prefer to use these to using preservatives in jam, jelly. You'd like to make you some natural lemon juice that's hand squeezed. Just breathe. That's it. This is the tree that we're not going to cut down. This is the family tree. We're not going to destroy all of them. We've destroyed a lot of trees already. It's a very Nell Jodie Foster situation. The logging must stop so that these can continue growing on that tree. That's the essence that's about to go extinct if we don't handle that understanding of turbulence. Okay? Whatever trajectory we're on, we all have to be on the same trajectory, or at least looking in the same direction. All of these planetary bodies, if they had one person or one living being on each one of them, right? That was all looking in the same direction at the same exact time. That's kind of like having a network or a city of people that are all concentrating on one thing. Just one thing. Maybe they're all tripping about it. Maybe they're not. That's what the news is. This is like a news flash moment to like let your garden be as like vibrantly available to you as possible, which is also making sure the neighborhood has well pruned lemon trees as well. Give your neighbor a lemon tree if they don't have one. That's the service. The acceptance of that lemon tree, not necessarily necessary. You don't have to like lemon juice. Maybe you're allergic to sour things. Either way, though, there's choices about how to navigate through turbulence. So when you have a good idea of what kind of family of thought you'd like to be part of, I feel like Aquarius, this is the universe actively clearing out the galaxy from being in your way. I know that's really weird, but this is the difference. This is the universe clearing out the galaxy. No more. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a collision almost, and it's like swerving at the last moment. Yeah, look. Swerving at the last minute before a collision. That's all. Your family is probably usually immune to most of the same bugs that you are. Because y'all live together in the same property.